An interesting topic I want to touch on is choke points. There's a lot of these choke points positioned around the world, and they serve a really strategic value, and we're not really taught about them, or we kind of just overlook them. So the first one I want to get into is Israel. The way I look at Israel is that its main purpose, or one of its purposes, is that it's a choke point to Africa. If we look here, there's no way off of Africa by land. If we go all the way around it here, the only way off of Africa is going through Egypt and then through the southern border of Israel. As you see, Israel's got its border going from the Mediterranean all the way through to this waterway, so you can't get through this piece of land without going through that border. And I think Britain and United States, or Britain mainly, used the Jewish people's homeland as an excuse to build this choke point. And I think this is why Britain pulled out of Suez Canal too, because I think they felt satisfied with what they got here, and they can ease relations in this area. Maybe, I don't know. It's a way to look at it. So you can't get off this piece of land without going through Israel. And I think that's a really strategic move there. And I don't know any place that teaches that. School doesn't teach you that. My school didn't teach me that. So that's the most interesting choke point to me. Another one is Gibraltar. It's right here on the southern tip of Spain. This controls the traffic coming in and out of the Mediterranean, or overlooks it, right? So it's right there. I recently seen that they were getting rid of the borders between Gibraltar and Spain. The way I look at that is it's just another move to hide the fact that this is a territory. Um, they like playing that game. Singapore. It's all the same. Speaking of Singapore, we'll go there. This is a major choke point for shipping traffic. It's all shipping traffic basically. Uh, Mainly coming from China. Like if you wanna send ships out of here, this is your quickest route. And they strategically Britain. They find these spots and they place themselves there. Um, and yeah, they disguise them. They let other countries kind of go in there, but it's all ran by them. So there's Singapore. We have Panama over here. This was started by the French, I think. Then Britain took over, and ultimately the United States finished it, and is running it. But United States, the way I look at that is that it's just another pawn of Britain. You know, 1913, December 23rd. The Federal Reserve. So we were kind of taken over, the way I look at it. And it even goes before that. So when they say United States is running Panama, it's not really United States. So that's my take on these choke points, at least. So there's a lot of these city-states that are used to pull strings, but I don't think it's where power actually sits. Like the head of the power, at least. I think these are just little puppets they use to control stuff out of. But like the Vatican here, it's just like some people say, how can that be a control method? But I think the priest completely, like priests are like podcasters. I view that's how I view them. I think there's no difference. They're there to tell the public uh, stuff. I mean, they tell them good stuff, but they also slip in a little bit of misinformation there. Uh, there's the NGOs. Like NGOs. That's a whole fucking other story. But this is like an international NGO the way I see it. Marco Rubio was at. He was talking about uh, they would give aid to Cuba, but Cuba didn't want it. And they're like, what is there strings attached? He's like, no, it just has to be given out by the Christian church. And that's it. But this is how things work. I mean, it's a fucking game. So yeah, this is one of them. Another thing is confession booths, man. Like confession booths, like, and I really don't believe that you have to tell another. He's not God. Is the person you're confessing to God? I mean, shouldn't it be directly to this godly figure you believe in? Why do you need a middleman? I think this middleman is a scam, so they can get blackmail on people, so they can control them. It's just like Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, they needed blackmail on figures, so they can get them to say something to distort the public's view. This is how everything works. It's just a fucking game. So yeah, this is one of them. I think like Carthage was another city-state. It's like one of the past. There's more. Another thing I wanted to mention while I still have this map open. In my previous video, I talked about nukes being fake. And another thing that just solidifies that in my head is the countries who own the nukes. Here's a list right here. There's 9 in total. We'll start with UK and France. I mentioned them with the choke points. They ran side by side with a lot of things during that time. There's a lot of wealth that comes out of there, a lot of hidden names. So I think they're just running with the gig as well. Maxwell comes from there too. USA right here. Just another pawn of UK. I look at USA as like the newer version of UK too. UK is an island, separated from the rest. It's kind of just like a safer, segregated nation, I guess. USA is the same thing, just it's a little bit further away. And I think it's funny too, because a lot of the names are like plays of places from UK. Basically, almost everything. Russia, I think, is the only country that is kind of separated from the rest. I think they're just playing along with the gig. I don't think they really have as many ties to the rest of these nations. They may have been told to play the gig. I don't know if there was some sort of fucking agreement there or what. But it's a good gig to play. But you gotta be in the right spot. You can't be Iran playing that gig, because you're gonna get yourself fucking bombed. But Russia's playing it. China, they got a lot of ties to Britain as well. The Communist Party was kind of infiltrated by Britain when it was starting up. I think there's a lot of connections there that we're not really told about. Pakistan and India, they're also heavily connected to Britain. They're basically Britain's little bitch for a while. They still kind of are. So I think they're kind of playing along with the gig as well. They're in the Shazam, both of them. But these are all countries of heavy ties to Britain, except Russia. They're the only one that's kind of out of the way, I think. North Korea, I forgot to mention them. Uh, North Korea is a weird one to me. I don't really know too much, but the fact that they're playing the nuke game tells me a lot. You can't just play that card willy nilly. Because, like I said, if you're in Iran playing that card, you're going to get bombed. So I think it's very strategic. And I think if you're playing that card, you're in the game. So, North Korea, the fact that they're playing this card tells me something. And it's almost making me think that the nation's just like some sort of testing ground for doing like psyops on civilians and like how you can manipulate the public, I guess. Change your perception. Uh, Especially the fact that it's so hidden and, kept away from our eyes. So, that's the way I look at this list here. And you may see I bring UK and France at the top a lot, but I think they're not at the very top, of course. I think, like I said, UK is just another pawn. Uh, just like it's just a older version of the United States. I think there's probably some hidden figures that ultimately will never be found out because this is the way things are designed. But it's probably got some sort of Phoenician PH ties. Uh, Someone recently traced the Phoenicians or Canaanites up to the Venetians with a V. They say that went from Tyre to Alexandria to Carthage. And then there's some other places along the way, Cadiz maybe. But I think they ultimately came to Venice, Venetians. I don't know how true that is, but it's an interesting take. But yeah, I don't think the like what's told to us is true. There's a lot of these podcasters trying to tell people that AI can be better than you. It's conscious. It can do all this crazy shit. It's fake, man. It can't. It's just a program. AI is just a program retitled as artificial intelligence because it creates a new market. The whole thing is a sham. All AI does is puts out what you feed it. It can't create new authentic ideas. It can it can combine what you fed it and it can formulate shit, but it can't create new authentic ideas. It's just a program. But these people, it's their job, literally, to go out and convince people that AI will be better than you. That's just not true. You can get them to do some crazy task, sort through lots of data. That you can do, but it won't be better than you, that's for sure. It's just one big scam. Similar to I see a lot of these podcasters talking about quantum computing. That's also a lot of garbage. The way a computer operates is using zeros and ones to differentiate. There's no workaround around that. That's the simplest form of doing it. This quantum computing crap is just garbage, and I think it's like similar to CERN or AI in a way. It's just it's a concept that people can't grasp, and they take advantage of it, and they use it to come up with this new market of bullshit. But yeah, I wouldn't put any belief into that. That's complete garbage. But they need these podcasters there because it like I said, they're kind of like priests. They they're what makes it real. They keep it fresh in your mind. So it's really their job. Another interesting take is that these websites like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook are not social media websites, but they're actually there to build profiles on individuals. It kind of sold the story that these are to communicate with your friends and stay in touch with what's happening in the world. But it's really to build a profile on the individual and to find out how to market to them better. Find out, how to tune in content to their favor and all this sorts of stuff. Uh, and you're hidden by this mask that it's there to communicate with your friends, but I think it serves a much deeper purpose. And there's an interesting story I heard that these early game shows from the early 2000s and the 90s would have a brief moment where they would show on the screen a number, and they would have the viewers call in and cast a vote. Do you want this, that to happen, or yada yada yada, right? But it's to build a profile so they can market to you better. And I mean, that's just one of the things. I mean, it could be for any sorts of thing. They could be doing anything with that information, but um, yeah, these websites sit there to collect your information, and they're using all that data um, for things beyond your imagination. I mean, your data is used a million different ways.